more.
Oh, I put mine in my journal, that's what it
Like, you
was.
know how you give us assignments?
Yeah.
We only have a first grade and one assignment, right?
No, I didn't put it in my journal.
In the grade book? Yes, you have more grades though. I just haven't written it in.
Oh.
Okay, guys. In your comp book,
Looking for the smart skills.
you had notes about prokaryotes and eukaryotes. And then you had your Venn diagram. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna put in our sheet. Okay, now this one, is this mine? Yes. I have some extra over here, but it's kind of. Alright, so what you're gonna do is we're gonna put these in our comp book. It says, color corresponding box, make sure you put it in the notebook with your key. Doesn't make, how you're not gonna be able to, are you, because you got one on the back. Right, you have one on the back?
I'm low.
Yeah, let's fold the animal and stuff.
Which one are we on?
You should be on page 28.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we'll do. Because I forgot you have a back. Okay, so on page 28. No, go ahead. You're right, animal and plant cell. And go ahead and pass these around. Take one of each. Take one of each. Huh? Okay, well, you're gonna need it for something else anyway, so. You don't know where it's at? Did you do it? Which box did you turn it in? Turn in the right box? Yeah, this side. Well, there's like, you need to keep going, there's the first one. Needs both. Can you pass them back?
Oh, let me get the little baby seat. I mean, here you borrow that.
All right. So we're gonna take in our plant cell and animal cell so that we can, I can see both. Okay? So remember, you just, you fold it in, look, fold it, and then you would tape it back here so that I can pull it up and out. I'm taping this part in so that I can pull it out. All you're doing.
That's pretty simple.
I do this every time we put something in our book.
It's just so.
I didn't get the good card.
Okay, you need to, that needs to happen. Okay, now on the next side, you're gonna write prokaryote cell. And what kind of cells are these? Only?
Animal plant.
What?
What else are you talking about? I'm talking
Prokaryote.
bacteria.
Oh, bacteria.
Mhm. So, this one you will cut out.
Do they do that?
What?
No, I thought, you know, what you said, I thought they might do it still.
They do,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
but that's an animal cell. Okay?
You want to keep the prokaryote working.
Yep. It would look like this.
I didn't do this.
I lost my box. I'm gonna leave it. I have to pull it. No.
Okay, so something like that.
I don't wanna go on a field trip with him.
We get one of those. A filter? Yeah, I don't want a
There's
filter.
too many of y'all. There's, over like 300, biology students, so we can't take someone we have. We've tried in the past.
We could do, do what? Like, field trip. I don't know if I take the pass, though.
Like, one day, we'll take,
I'm size, please.
like, one day we'll take.
You would be moving.
You need six strips.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do one at a time.
Okay, so got that?
I'm saying one at a time.
Yeah, y'all can do this.
Kinda cheating out about field trips. I know that was.
Man, maybe whenever we was in old school, we could go like 5
I'll tell you, I know it is. Try to lie.
Okay.
Oh,
Now, on the next pages, so 30 and 31, right? We got brand new, nothing over there.
Y'all always on page 40. Where y'all at?
Page
What?
40.
Y'all always on page 40. Where y'all at?
That's 30.
Should just say where we were at.
No, that's serious.
Okay, now,
Page 29.
Which one did we complete on our cell parts?
None.
Yeah, we completed
Yes, we did.
one of them.
Yeah, we did almost all.
Yeah, you weren't here
Yeah,
Friday.
The one with the cell membrane.
Yeah,
Wait,
we
wait.
did.
The one with the membrane?
Yeah, 4 more.
Hold on.
The lysosome. Right, we're not done with that one.
We smooth endo and vessel.
It's like, can I get that paper?
That's what that is.
You should have finished one of the pages.
Yeah, we did one of them. Oh, no, we actually don't. We still have one more. We still have
Backwards, that's
missiles.
missing.
This is cool.
That's,
That's something I didn't do with that.
okay, well, you can go ahead and, put it down. Those are these here.
Dude, that's wrong.
Are they different? Okay, well, don't acknowledge it, cause,
Do you want me to cut it up, or?
Brenda, teacher, don't look at it.
Why you recording us?
Oh my gosh, chill.
Y'all were looking at different purposes.
That should be illegal.
It's not, you don't run that waiver.
But you, no,
We did?
No, I didn't.
You did.
Yeah, your parents did.
It's like
I
part of,
didn't,
it's
my
part
parents
of,
signed that, I signed that.
look, it's part of whenever you, register to be a student at the high school.
Yeah, I signed that
That's one of
paper.
the
My
things.
dad didn't sign that for those.
It was all online.
You have to
Exactly,
do
I
that.
did it.
Is that a must-have thing for this school?
What if we're not, like,
It is.
what if it wasn't? This whole conversation doesn't about this iPad. Wait, the initial, they were like, no, so we want to say that.
Okay.
So why she doing it?
What?
Why she trying to get us to quit?
She's, oh my gosh, this lady was good.
If you want to cut it, we have.
She don't want it.
It's not about, it's about me.
Yeah.
Oh, what
is she doing? Good job. Which is she doing great?
But if you want to let us have you record. Well, you remember last year, Slade recorded the whole time.
Alright, so we've got those trims and cut out, and you're gonna tape them in.
What did you put that on the, what did you
Just trim around the parts that you wrote. Does that make sense? Okay, are y'all done? Got it in?
Why don't we put, I'll take that.
Just cell functions and cell parts.
Why don't we put the other one on the other?
It doesn't matter.
You need to bet the bottom of this. No one has it. Oh, buckets. Buckets. No,
Right there.
go to them might go in. Them might, yes it did. It did great size, you stupid. Okay.
You know what I'm gonna do? One step.
Yes, sir. Said those three in a row.
Because it's a basketball player, so you shoot, right?
Bro, I'm a thing with.
I put cell phone, then I put cell phone.
Look at the hand who I want to come in basketball class.
I didn't say that.
What you want to come in basketball class? So, yeah, so.
Alright, you got it? Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're going to finish, the notes that we had.
Does it matter what thing?
Oh, we're literally being recorded?
Okay, which one were we on? What was the last one we did? That you know of?
Cell membrane going.
We did the mitochondria, right? Alright, that was the last one, I think. Okay, so we did the mitochondria. So Corey, mitochondria, is where we were. It changes food energy into high energy compounds called ATP. Remember, that's the function of the mitochondria. Okay? We also put like how long, like what they can remind us of, like the sleep parts. And remember, this one is kind of like the power generator, kind of like the utility. So it's usually called the powerhouse of the cell. Okay?
Wait, so what do you want me to write?
What?
Let me write.
You write the function where it says function, and then underneath it somewhere or underneath the name, you can write powerhouse of the cell. And we were writing analogies about how the cell reminds us, and the parts of the cell remind us of parts of the city. And so the mitochondria, if it's a power generator, it would be like the utility, or like a power plant. So it's providing energy for the daily cell activities. Okay? So we already did that one, but I was just reviewing. Remember, ATP is the type of energy that the cell can use. Alright, the next one is your rough endoplasmic reticulum, or the rough ER. And what it does is it's connected to the nuclear envelope or the nuclear membrane, okay? It's connected. So when the proteins are made, it can transport those proteins, and transports the ribosomes out into the cytoplasm. So the rough ER is the transporting proteins and other materials in the cell. The reason it's considered rough is because it's studded with little ribosomes all over it. Okay? okay? It's considered rough because it has ribosomes all over it. It's found in plant and animal cells, yes. Transports proteins and other materials in the cell. So how would you consider this to be your, a part of the city?
Transports proteins, a meat truck.
So it's a transport.
A meat truck.
Yeah, transports the steaks.
It's like, kind of like a road system. It's like remember we talked about the packaging place, right? That made all the packages? Yeah, so this is like the road system, the transport highway, that the things are going through to get to where they're going, okay?
So it makes kind of sense because it looks like it's like a road, like a maze, or like somewhere.
So it's kind of like
Okay, what?
So what is it?
It's like the highway system. Okay, so the rough ER, remember, is gonna have ribosomes on the surface. So the opposite is then true of the smooth ER. It does not have any ribosomes on the surface, okay? They are attached to each other. So anytime you see this, it's going to be attached to the what? What's this?
The nucleus thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be attached to the nucleus. The nuclear membrane is attached to the ER, okay? So the smooth ER makes lipids and stores materials.
So, you need that quote?
Huh? The smooth ER makes lipids, so it makes fats, and it stores materials. So it's like, it's a storage house, okay?
Store your mom.
I thought it'd be something.
Good, it stores the materials.
Okay. You got it? All right, next one. So y'all see this right here, this picture? What do those all look like?
Tanks.
They're tanks. And they are storage tanks. Usually they have water in them. So vacuoles, do you see vacuoles? It's on the longer one towards the bottom. Okay, so vacuoles are the storage tanks of the cell, okay? They are gonna store water like a silo stores grain on a farm. Okay, that's what that is. They store water. They can store other materials, but mainly water. It's also important that no, I think it's already written there. But they're in both plants and animals. Okay, now, in a plant, remember I told you they're very large in the plant. In an animal cell, though, they are not as big. In an animal cell, there may be several of them, but not one big central one, okay? So it's just a storage center for water. Y'all know how plants can be, you think about a flower that you buy at the store. When you buy the flower, what does it look like?
White, no, white.
Well, I mean, like the actual flower itself, maybe not the colors, but what does it look like? Is it just hanging by a thread, or does it look pretty and it's brand new, right? Okay, now once it's maybe been in a vase for a week, what starts to happen to it?
Starts to
Starts to die, starts to get a little droopy, right?
Yeah, true.
Okay, so what happens is the plant is losing water, okay? So if the vacuole starts to shrivel up, so does the plant. If the vacuole is full, it they have to have that water in their cells in order for them to have that turgor pressure. Okay, now vesicle, this is on the other page. This is only in animal, plant and animal cells, eukaryotic cells. But all it is another storage, okay? It's just a storage. Yeah, you see all these little bitty, they're just little storage. And, a lot of times they'll have enzymes in them as well, like the lysosomes, but they're not getting rid of waste. They're just storing it until the cell needs it. Okay? Alright, is that all of them filled in, or how many do you have
We
left?
have century.
Okay, so this one is not on your list, but I just want you to look at it. This is the cytoskeleton. I'm gonna turn the light off real fast so you can see it. Okay,
Oh, that's what it is.
so this is what gives them their shape, okay? So they're long thin rods that give the cell its shape and help with movement. They're in plant and animal cells. So it's just like an inner working of, like your skeleton kind of keeps you upright and protects all your organs and all that good stuff. Same thing happens to a cell, except it's not as rigid as our bones. They're just fibers versus actual bone, okay? So that's the cytoskeleton. So here we go. We have centrioles. Centrioles are important for cell division. So remember, we talked about how cells have to divide. But in order for them to divide, they have to have these guys helping them do their thing. So they're like traffic police, okay? They're coordinating the division of the cell.
Hello?
Where do I get the recipes from? Where do I get the recipes?
I'll let you borrow some.
We're still,
Good,
missing one.
good, good.
Like, vesicle.
I just did that.
Yeah, I'm not told it. You missed that.
Okay. There's a few more actually we're gonna go through. Okay. So centrioles, these are only in animal cells, and they are for helping with division. Alright, remember, chromatin, y'all heard that word? Remember? It's on your list, but again, it's important. Contains DNA bound to proteins found in the nucleus. Basically what this is DNA that's been tightly coiled up. Okay, that's what it means. Then you have chromosomes, which is even more coiled up DNA, so it's even more condensed chromatin. And this is what your DNA will look like during division.
Is that really what it's like?
Yes, that's really what it looks like.
I want to feel really good.
Okay? I'll see if I can find it. Okay? So we got chromatin, remember? This is DNA that's been coiled up around some proteins, and then it becomes even more coiled up as a chromosome. And that's the way it has to be in order for the cell to divide, so that it gets the right DNA to each cell.
I feel like water in the background. How much water?
These are microvilli. These are like kind of to help for movement. They also help for absorption. They're kind of like little hairs. And I think that's it.
Protein, not.
Oh, this is just like how proteins are made. Remember, ribosomes are kind of like the blueprint for the proteins. They go on the transport system of the ER. Remember we talked about how it's a transport. And they're transporting it to the what? Packaging center, which is the what? Who's the packaging center? The Golgi. And it sorts and, transports wherever it needs to go, okay? To their final destination. Okay, so if this is what kind of cell would this be maybe, you think?
What kind of, I
Is it a prokaryote or eukaryote?
Prokaryote. I don't know.
Say it again.
Prokaryote?
Why do you think it's
Eukaryote.
pro?
No.
Pro means what?
No.
No nucleus. So is this
Oh,
a
eukaryote.
prokaryote?
Eukaryote.
I said you
Eukaryote.
carry
You're
up.
right.
I was talking that.
Okay, listen, so it has a nucleus, and it has all of the different organelles, okay? This is the same picture, just using the, city parts as what it is. So you've got your ribosomes, your blueprint to make proteins, your transport system, your packaging system. Here you got your lysosome, which is the trash guy, gets rid of stuff. Your storage tank, your vacuole, your brains of the operation, okay, your nucleus, power, mitochondria, and remember your cell membrane is like a gate, okay? All right, so I'm gonna leave these up here for just a second. And you can use your comp book, and you're gonna do a short activity. We're gonna trade and grade. It's real easy, okay? It's about the cell parts. And Corey, you try, and then you'll be good.
Okay.
Let go of.
I got multiple charges.
This one. We have this one.
Oh,
I have one. He's still in everything, so I need to pee.
Okay, and it's not a class set. It says class set at the top, but
Miss,
it's
I
not.
used to finish
Didn't get to finish what?
because I had to.
Okay, we'll get this from,
I got you.
from somebody next to pass it to me. Okay, it says, remember to imagine your city as a miniature, or your cell as a miniature city. Compare the parts of the cell to parts of the city. Because both cities and cells are parts that work together for the good of the whole. The cell organelles might repeat themselves, or might represent companies, places, or parts of the city, because both the organelles and the city parts have similar jobs. It says to write the following organelles in order. What I want you to do is right next to the organelle, I want you to write what it is. So for instance, let's do the first one together. The cell wall would be the what?
The gateway. Wait, hold on. After that. Wall outside the city.
Wall outside the city. So you would literally just take the cell wall, you would take the cell wall and you would find which one matches, and it's this one, wall outside. And then, you don't have to underline it, but I'm just trying to like separate it. And so then I'm done with that one, so I can mark it out, down at the bottom. Okay, and you just keep going. Okay, it's pretty simple, just to check your understanding.
I got 10 on that. Plus one deposit.
Okay, we'll skip it.
I did, that's what I'm asking.
No, you went to number 2, go to number 10, go to 5.
Okay,
What
look
did
back
you
here.
do? What is that? You wrote it down in your notes. You wrote it down in your notes.
I don't understand.
Powerhouse of the
It's oil, so just say it was a power outlet, it's still water.
See, you
It's
know
still
it.
water,
You know it.
but it's not on here.
Yeah, I'll see where it's-
No, it's not.
What is it like?
What do you think it's like?
Ooh, we just talked about
It just read, if you don't know what it would be like, read the definition behind it. It'll tell you exactly what I said. No.
Like, the strings.
Remember, don't work together. You're doing it by yourself.
Source of activity.
That's all it. You wrote it. I want to say it. See, look.
She wouldn't even know. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know right now. What's it?
This is very easy. It's
It's
really
very,
easy.
yeah. Wait, what? What do you see there?
I know only the ones I know.
I'll keep it, good, good. Oh my God. I put lumber and beams for, nucleus, is that right?
Does the nucleus support all the structures inside the city and give the buildings their shape?
Oh, that's good.
Is that what it says next to the function in your comp book? Did you read it? Okay, well then that's your first step.
Oh, it says just start. I y'all put a start.
Oh, did you finish? no, where is this? What is that word right there say?
Trans?
Transport. So transport, so let's come down here and see which one of those says that.
You got air, transport, road system.
So I would write that, or, so you just keep doing that, you just keep looking at the functions and comparing them. What does that say right there? Okay, so which one of these down here says that? Says something about transport.
That's what I'm trying to ask.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think controls all the activities of the cell or the scheme?
Boy, you want to do one more done?
Just hold on to it, we're gonna exchange them and grade them.
You still working on mine by the time we.
He kept Corey.
Okay. Okay.
Do we need that? Do we send it out?
No, you can.
Oh, no, that.
What did I tell you that that cytoskeleton does? Which one of these looks like this, what the cytoskeleton would do? What's your skeleton?
Hold on.
It's lumber. I don't know. I only have 3 things left. No, I don't. Take it back.
Who is the city hall? Who controls all the activities of the cell?
It wasn't me.
Who's in charge of everything?
I was
Look, everything in between all the structures